So, good morning. I'm glad that people are trickling in, that people got the message, that everyone is home safe. And I welcome you to our online version of Unity Buffalo. And Unity is a positive path for spiritual living. And as always, we're blessed to have you here. Even digitally, we can connect. What a blessing that is. I am Dawn Lewandowski. I'm the spiritual leader at Unity, and I'm serving as the platform partner today. And now you can join Thomas. Stay muted, but join Thomas in singing I Am the Thinker.
I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. If you ask me, who am I am wisdom, I am light. I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. If you ask me, what am I am beauty, I am joy, I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. I can choose to be the light that brightens someone's darkest night. I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life.
Thank you, Thomas. And now let's join together in an opening prayer, taking this moment to settle into this space together. Maybe before you close your eyes, taking in the screen of faces and names, and taking in this sense of community, this community of spirit, and allowing that sense of spirit to fill you. We are made of the spirit of love, wisdom, understanding, power, strength. And as we in Buffalo are waiting to see if we get hit by a big storm, we can remember that it is all held. It is all held in spirit. And we can listen in for our own wisdom as to how to take good care of ourselves and nurture our spirits on this day. Things in the world, in our country, can bring up fears and anxieties and a sense of wanting to do something and perhaps not knowing what. And that's when we settle in to our divine knowing. We recenter in the knowing that Spirit holds it all with love and strength and power. And then we listen in for that still small voice guiding us on our path and helping us move in the world. And so it is. Amen. And if you join with me in our invocation, there is only one presence and one power living as the universe and as me, God the good, omnipotent. Our vision, a world of love, peace, and abundance for all. Our mission, practicing the presence of God through prayer, education, service, creativity, and community. And as human beings, we don't always remember that we are fully spiritual. And sometimes when we are not owning our spiritual nature, we may avoid conflict or lack transparency, unskillfully communicate, not be present, spiritually bypass, or hold the consciousness of not enough. And we can turn to ourselves and others with compassion and understanding, as that is our human path, learning to realize our spiritual nature. And these are the qualities that come out in our community and in us that we're committed to as our spiritual nature. And say them with me: loving, spiritually centered, inclusive, respectful, compassionate, and authentic. In our evolutionary purpose statement, transforming lives and inspiring people to make a positive difference in our world.
I bring my zeal to passion to life. I bring my zeal and passion to life. Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore wrote in his 94th year, I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm and spring forth with a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me. His example shows me that regardless of my age or station in life, zeal is a divine gift, a part of me, always mine to call upon. Through it, I feel enthusiastic and energetic about life. I express joy and excitement as I live, love, and share of myself through service. I am purposeful, passionate, and positive. I live authentically and make a bold impression on the world. I share my talents and gifts with a spirit of generosity and service. I begin each day with eagerness and end it with gratitude, happy to share my zeal. Today's scripture comes from Psalms 100, verse 2. Worship the Lord with gladness. Come into his presence with singing.
We are already at the wonderful moment where I get to introduce Mary Beth Wollenschlaeger, who is many things for our ministry. She is, I was going to say, a spiritual leader. I know I'm the spiritual leader, but she's a spiritual leader and board president, very instrumental in the leadership team last year and helping with our finances. So she wears so many hats: prayer chaplain, coordinator for so many years, still a prayer chaplain. And she is going to grace us with part 1 of the Discover Your Divinity series with a lesson titled Connecting with the I Am. So thank you, Mary Beth, and welcome.
Well, good morning, and I am so happy to be sharing this morning from the comfort and coziness of my home, and I hope you're warm and cozy too. This morning, I want to invite us into a remembering, not about learning something new, but about remembering something very real. We'll be exploring what it means to discover our divinity, not as something to achieve or claim, but as something to be conscious of. We'll look at affirmative prayer as a way of shifting our awareness so we can rest more fully in oneness, rest more fully in I am. And because this kind of remembering doesn't require the thinking mind, or doesn't happen just through the thinking mind, let's begin not with words, but with awareness, by gently settling into our hearts. I invite you to place your attention in the area of your heart. If it feels comfortable, place a hand there and imagine your breath flowing gently in and out of the heart space, a little slower, a little deeper, and easily balanced. As you breathe, allow a renewing feeling, such as compassion or appreciation for yourself, to arise within you. When you feel filled up, gently extend that feeling outward into the world. As we rest here for just a moment, notice how accessible this awareness can be when we stop and pause. This is the same awareness we're speaking of when we say that God is all there is. There is only oneness. And yet, we might believe that, and at times, there are certainly moments when this truth feels very far away, especially when life pulls us into our human experience. The book, Discover Your Divinity, a modern guide to affirmative prayer, invites us into a different way of praying, one that doesn't ask God to do something for us, but gently shifts our consciousness so we can realize what has always been real and true. Now, that shift can feel unfamiliar and even uncomfortable at times, but that discomfort is telling us that we're on the edge of breaking through to perhaps some new understanding. So today's talk is about claiming divine identity, claiming the I am. Notice I did not say claiming your identity, divine identity, or your I am presence. The foundation of this book, along with the first principle from Unity's 5 principles, is the same. God is all there is, oneness. And even my title, Connecting with I Am, may be misleading because it implies we're disconnected and that we need to connect. It's something that's just sort of been with us for so long. It takes a conscious effort to shift away from that. So here's a question worth thinking about. If I'm trying to claim divinity, who is the I that's doing the claiming? Sometimes in our spiritual language, we say things like claiming our divine identity. And while that can be a helpful doorway, it also reinforces a habit that we might be ready to outgrow. Because if God is all there is, if oneness is the truth, then who exactly would be doing this claiming? Is there a separate self outside of God trying to reach in? Or is it possible that what we call claiming is really a remembering, a relaxing into what has always been true? Affirmative prayer doesn't make us divine. It helps us become conscious of the divinity that already is. Affirmative prayer doesn't build divinity, it reveals it. Sometimes you want something so badly, you might feel the harder you pray, the more likely God will hear you. But it can be like trying too hard. You can try to do the heavy lifting, or in this example, you could get sliders and move the couch with a lot more ease. I think affirmative prayer is kind of like putting sliders under the couch so that you can move things easily. So, in truth, you do not have a divine identity. You are divine. Now, this can easily send us into trying to understand with the thinking mind. Instead, I invite us to all do what Mary, the mother of Jesus, did in Luke chapter 2, verse 19. Mary treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart. Pondering does not mean thinking harder. It doesn't mean praying harder. It is about allowing understanding to come to us. Mary wasn't rushing to explain or define what was happening. She was allowing the meaning to unfold within her. This is an example of superconscious awareness. Truth revealing itself when we stop forcing understanding, when we stop trying so hard, when we ponder our own life experiences, especially when we get new ideas or new perceptions or new expanded understandings of God, we enter this space where it's the reflection that will bring the clarity. You may reflect upon what led you to unity, or how being a part of this spiritual community has changed you and shaped you. How has unity allowed you to grow spiritually and emotionally? And how has it expanding your understanding of God? This way of knowing beyond analysis or memory also shows up in our unity teachings. Eric Butterworth famously said, God is not in us like a raisin is in a bun. I think you've probably heard that before, as I try to weave that statement in to every talk that I give. But I have to be honest, when I first heard it, I didn't really get it. And I tried to understand it with my thinking mind, and I just really couldn't make sense of it. So over time, I stopped trying to figure out what it meant, and I simply held it in my heart, the way Mary did. And then something shifted for me. What I came to understand about God is that God is not separate from us at all. Presence, everywhere present, cannot be removed. Oneness cannot be undone. This brings us to the importance of consciousness, because there is a way of knowing that comes not from analysis, but from expanded awareness, what Charles Fillmore called the superconscious mind, the divine human aspect of who we are. This is why affirmative prayer becomes so powerful. It can create a bridge to the superconscious mind or the divine human. The purpose of affirmative prayer is to realize oneness. How does this happen? Well, the action of prayer is the transformation of the mind. And then the effect is a shift in consciousness. So let me say that again. So affirmative prayer can be this bridge to our superconsciousness, because we are trying to realize oneness with affirmative prayer. And how does affirmative prayer do this? What changes us is the thoughts we hold in our mind. So by transforming those thoughts, by getting away from the story we tell when we ask for prayer, often it's because we're in our human condition. And so the affirmative prayer helps us transform through the mind out of that human condition awareness to remembering we're part of something greater than us. There's something going on here that is much bigger than us. And it creates this shift in consciousness. That's why this book, and again, it's a challenging book. It's been challenging for me, I think for most all of the prayer chaplains. And the opening, they call it, instead of calling it a prayer, a step-by-step process, they call it a prayerful flow. And the way it's suggested to open is not by naming God, but by opening to new understanding. So as prayer chaplains, and many of you that just everyone that prays, we are just very used to opening with our names for God, beloved, divine wholeness, sweet spirit. This approach invites us somewhere different and perhaps deeper. I'm going to share a couple examples from the book of how they suggest we can open prayer. But it's important to understand why consciousness matters so much. The authors of this book wrote, an understanding of consciousness, that is what is essential for the mind to transform. And that is our intention when we use affirmative prayer, that the mind will transform. So the book describes consciousness as awareness or perception of thoughts, emotions, sensations, memories, and knowledge. And it also reminds us that this definition is incomplete, because beneath our conscious awareness lies the subconscious, which is an ocean, literally an ocean of thoughts, beliefs, memories, and knowledge that is stored, but it's not always readily accessible. And beyond these two, beyond the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, there's an expansive realm of consciousness, the superconsciousness, where we know our divinity. Charles Fillmore equated this superconscious mind with the divine human. Affirmative prayer isn't meant to work only at the level of fixing thoughts or healing emotions. It's meant to lift us into this superconscious realm where truth is already established. So with that background, I'd like to share a couple of my favorite examples from the book about how prayer can begin. The first one is, in this moment, I breathe. Consciously placing my attention on something larger than what I currently know. My next favorite one is, I open to what I don't know, but long to know. The deepest wisdom that I am. Let me read that one again. I open to what I don't know, but long to know. The deepest wisdom that I am. Rather than statements of beliefs, these openings are invitations. They don't demand certainty or understanding. They simply create space. They don't demand certainty or understanding. They simply create space. And it's in that space that consciousness can shift. Not through effort, but through openness. As we close today, I want to offer this gently. There's nothing here that you need to figure out or fully understand. Affirmative prayer, as this book teaches, isn't something we do perfectly. It's something we allow to unfold as our consciousness expands. Simply opening to new understanding is enough. So perhaps this week, instead of trying to define I am, you might do what Mary did. Hold these ideas in your heart. Ponder them. Notice what shifts when you release the story you've been telling and open to the possibility that divine identity is not something you possess, but something you are. Trust. And you can trust this. Your willingness to open, however gently, however imperfectly, is already the movement of spirit within you. Thank you for your attention and for creating space for the shift to happen. Let's listen to Thomas now play our meditation music.
Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am. Be still, be still, be still and know. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am. Be still, be still, be still and know. Jesus says, peace be still, peace be still. Jesus says, peace be still, peace be still. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am. Be still, be still, be still and know. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am. Be still, be still, be still and know.
I invite you now to settle into a comfortable position. There's nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to go. Simply allow yourself to be present. Begin by bringing your attention to your breath, not changing it, just noticing it. With each inhale, allow yourself to open. And with each exhale, gently release. Release the stories, the effort, the need to understand. If it feels supportive, you might silently affirm, I open to new understanding. Not trying to define that understanding, just allowing it to arise in its own way. As the mind quiets, bring your awareness to your heart, the place where Mary pondered, where truth reveals itself without force. Rest here in simple awareness, in presence, in oneness. And we'll hold the silence together for 2 minutes. As we begin to return, gently bring your awareness back to your breath. Without trying to hold on to anything, simply notice what feels present. Peace, spaciousness, or even uncertainty. All of it is welcome. You might affirm, I allow divine understanding to integrate naturally. I allow divine understanding to integrate naturally. When you're ready, gently open your eyes, carrying this awareness with you, knowing that I am is not something you reach for, but something you rest within. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Beth, for that invitation to open into deeper understanding. And that book that the prayer chaplains is reading, that Mary Beth is working from to some degree, highly recommended. Discover Your Divinity. And now we will turn to prayer. I'd like to for us to include in our prayers Judy Dufty for healing. And please feel free to stay muted, but say names aloud or write them in the chat. And the prayer box we do not have in our hands, but it is in our hearts, all the intentions that were placed in the prayer box. And with that, I will turn to Judy Puffpath for prayer.
Now that we have held in our hearts the names of those we know need our prayers, and take in all the thoughts of the wonderful lesson that Mary Beth prepared for us to give us a better idea of how we can connect with our spirit within. Let's just take a deep breath, relax, and know, dear divine spirit within, I am the beloved child of God. I know that every step I take is guided by the wisdom, the power, and the zeal, and the creativity, and the zest for this amazing life we are living. We are so grateful for the ability to hold our community of unity online and share this time together. This gratitude extends to every part of our lives, for the prayers that are answered, for the prayers that we know already are on their way to creating whatever our need is. And those that we love, people who are no longer with us physically, but have given us so many great memories to cherish. We are so grateful for all the treasures in our world. We hold the peace within ourselves and extend it until it ripples everywhere, bringing solace and joy and peace. In this stillness, we say thank you, thank you, thank you, dear God, dear Spirit, for all of these possibilities. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Judy. And Thomas is now going to lead us in some special music.
When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God.
And transformational opportunities. Here we are. So I wanted to just mention, I guess everyone that's here got the memo about, got the email, I mean, about changing to online. And that will kind of be our plan going forward. If there's ever questionable weather, to check your email. And always, if you do see an email that says we're canceled and you can think of someone who might not have checked it, let's look out for each other. We don't want someone driving unnecessarily. So what I feel is a big announcement today is that Thomas is going to start to prepare for a Valentine's cabaret. And he's calling for performers, which can be all sorts of talents that you may have. There's a whole list in the email. They're not listed here, but it could be anything. I know we had Phyllis do Tai Chi once, and we've had poetry, and of course we have music, and comedy, and whatever is, again, your gift to bring. And that is going to be on February 22nd at 12 p.m. So if you are interested in being part of that, please speak to Thomas. There's a sound bath for world healing that's happening on the 14th, Valentine's Day, from 10 to 11:30, brought to you by Sounds from the Well Within. So that healing is something we certainly need in the world today, bringing our consciousness with us in our actions. You may have noticed that Christy came up with a lovely prayer request form that she added to our email. Going forward, I want that to be a way that we communicate about the prayer needs of the congregation. Sometimes I don't hear about things. I did not, I may not always realize someone isn't just on a trip, and then I find out weeks later that someone is not doing well, or is recovering. So use the prayer request form. If you're speaking to someone in the congregation who wants prayer, please ask them if they want it announced at the service. As much information as you give us. We don't want to announce things without someone's wanting that, without their permission. But if you fill out the prayer request form, then that will go right to me, and we can make sure that the chaplains know and that it gets announced or put in the prayer box. So that, as you'll see in your email blast. I wanted to note that next week is Potluck Sunday. So today we are home in our own homes. And next week, hopefully, we'll all be downstairs getting cozy with some delicious food. Spirit Groups is continuing on Saturday mornings from 10:30 to noon. Please do also, with weather, check your email. That was switched to Zoom yesterday as well. And I want to put in another plug for the accessibility team. I guess my vision is really to make our church more accessible. And I also don't have as much time as I'd like to devote to it. So I need folks to do some research about how we can make the basement wheelchair accessible, a bathroom that's more accessible, all those sorts of things, hopefully get grants. So if you have experience in any of that stuff and would like to be part of the accessibility team, you can reach out to me.
We are all friends here. There are no strangers once you walk inside that door. We welcome you to linger in this family of love and hold you in our hearts the way you are. We are all friends here. There are no strangers once you walk inside that door. We welcome you to linger in this family of love and hold you in our hearts the way you are.
And the prayer for protection: the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, a family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment with peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin